The Samaritan Fella Who Stopped for the Guy in the Ditch, by Bear Basswood and Jesus. Now, if you've ever been driving down a back road late at night and saw a truck with its hazards on, you know the internal debate. You think, should I stop? Is that a serial killer or just a guy who ran out of gas? Well, Jesus told a story about a situation just like that, only it involved a lot fewer jumper cables and a lot more donkey riding. Let me tell you all this story. There was this fellow hiking down the road from Jerusalem to Jericho. Now, that stretch of highway was notorious. It had more curves than a Texan wife and more hiding spots for crooks than a junkyard. Sure enough, a gang of outlaws jumped him. They didn't just take his wallet, they took his coat, his boots, and probably his dignity too. They left him lying in the ditch, looking like he'd gone 12 rounds with a D9 Caterpillar operated by a sketchy barn cat. The too busy crowd shows up. First, a preacher comes walking by. Now, you'd think a man of the cloth would be the first one to hop down and check a pulse. But he looks over, sees the mess, and thinks, I've got a potluck to get to, and I can't get blood on my Sunday best. He crosses to the other side of the road like he's avoiding a black puddle of God only knows what. Then comes a deacon, a real pillar of the community. He sees the guy groaning in the weeds and thinks, man, that looks like a lot of paperwork. I'm already late for the Pews and Kneelers board meeting. He zips right past him too. It's like seeing a guy with a flat tire and gunning the caddy so you don't have to make eye contact. The unexpected hero? Along comes a Samaritan. Now, back in those days, Samaritans and the local folks got along about as well as a cat and a vacuum cleaner. They didn't shop at the same stores, they didn't root for the same teams, and they definitely didn't swap tater-tot recipes. But when this Samaritan saw the guy in the ditch, he didn't check his ID or ask who he voted for. He just pulled over his donkey, grabbed his first aid kit, and got to work. He cleaned him up with some oil and wine, which is a bit of a waste of a good vintage, but it gets the job done, and bandaged him up. Then, and this is the kicker, he loads the guy onto his own ride, takes him to the local Motel 6, and tells the manager, here's some cash. Take care of him. If the bill goes over, just put it on my tab and I'll square up on my way back through. Here is the big picture we might want to consider. Jesus asked the folks listening, which one of these three was a real neighbor to the guy who got jumped? Even the city slickers knew the answer, the one who actually did something about it. The moral: being a good person isn't about how many verses you can quote or how shiny your bumper sticker is. It's about being the guy who pulls over when everyone else is blowing past. God doesn't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or a Samaritan. He cares if you've got enough room in your heart to help a stranger get out of the ditch. Because at the end of the day, we've all been the guy in the weeds, hoping someone with a kind heart and a sturdy donkey would show up. God bless us all. Thanks again, Bear.